Hi, my name is Jared Shackelford, and I'd like to talk to you briefly about a challenge that we had here at New Madrid County Central High School. To identify this challenge, I looked at our ELA and MAP scores. Now, when I looked at that, I found that about 50% of our English 1 students are scoring in the basic to below basic range. So therefore, our challenge was to get those students moved up from that range up to being advanced and proficient. The method I used to develop this plan, or within this plan, is to use student learning objectives, or SLOs, and have teachers develop SLOs built on their content areas, but also focusing on an ELA skill set. I believe that this would help because the more the students are exposed to skills and to practices that will advance their ELA abilities, the better. Really and truly, I think this is a great plan because the students need these skills no matter what subject they're in, no matter what subject they're taking. The better their ELA skills are, the better they will do at not only English, but also science, history, foreign language, you name it. So I think that this plan, not only would we see and will we see effects in their ELA scores, but also in everything else across the board. So who I included in this plan. The most important group obviously was our ELA department, but I also included classroom teachers, special education teachers, and the special education department as a whole. I also included the librarian, and I included parents. I organized and held a meeting where the parents were invited and the community was invited so that we could explain what student learning objectives were to them, and also the problem that we're having here and how they can help us. Another thing that I did was to include a group called the WATE, W-A-T-E, We All Teach English Oversight Committee. We started to use this acronym WATE because the teachers need to realize, we all need to realize that it's not just the English department that teaches English. We all have opportunities every single day to teach English, and really and truly, we do all teach English. The way that I monitored this plan was, first of all, the WATE committee went around and they helped oversee the implementation in the classrooms. Now, the WATE committee consisted of volunteer teachers, especially those with strong ELA skills, and it was also headed by the ELA department. So this committee would assist us administrators in going and overseeing the implementation, and also they helped us as we all went around and specifically helped teachers who needed some advice, who needed some help. Another way that we implemented this plan was by checking on the SLOs themselves. When the teachers turned them in the first time, we looked at their plan, we looked at the pre-tests that they'd written, and then the teachers were able to check their plan during the midterm exam. We finally looked at the data that they brought in at the end to see if there was growth, but the real test will be seeing if those EOC scores and those MAP scores have improved. So what have I learned about this plan? During the process, I learned that creating such an extensive plan is difficult, extremely difficult, and it's best to be more specific. The more specific, the better. So I think instead of just looking at the broad ELA, saying ELA, I think looking at a small group within that ELA, a small skill set, would allow us to better focus and plan. I also learned that collaboration, communication, and buy-in are key. Teachers don't want to feel that they are simply having to implement another acronym. For example, SLO. There was some kickback from that. But once the teachers understand that this is a challenge that we have, that this, by increasing students' ELA skills, in fact, we're increasing the chance that they're going to be successful in no matter what their endeavor may be after high school, whether it's going straight to the workforce or going to college. So I think once we understood as a group that we had a challenge on our hands to help the students, then we really began to see improvement.